Hey guys, this is Baileywiki, and we've got another big release to breeze through today. If you're new to the channel, I combine art and technology to not only show you how to create amazing experiences for your players, but I also create the assets like maps and prefabs and effects and sounds and stuff that you can use to quickly jump into it yourself. So I happen to use Dungeon Draft as my mapping software because it's simple, and I use Foundry VTT as my virtual tabletop of choice because it is the best VTT on the market, if you ask me. So if you're using any of these platforms or you're interested in creating truly remarkable experiences for your players, then you're in the right spot. So you're welcome to enjoy my tutorials and highlight videos for free always. Of course, liking and subscribing and commenting helps me out a ton. If you'd like to help out just a little bit more, you can always directly support my content and get access to my private Discord channels by subscribing to my Patreon. It's $3 a month. Or just go ahead and get all my assets for a few dollars more. Find out more at the link in the video description. Okay, so this is a release video. I've done a lot of these. This is where I highlight recent changes that you can access right now. So this month we continue in our massive city project to be able to build a large-scale city like Waterdeep. This release has three major new assets. So the first one is the Villa. It's a two-story mansion that fits perfectly into a Waterdeep or similar campaign, complete with multiple adjoining prefabs, these buildings and grounds, even dead bodies strewn throughout. So the villa itself, the adjoining grounds, the barracks, the stables, and even the body tiles are all available as separate prefabs that you can deploy anywhere, which we'll talk about. The second major part of the release is a massive extension to the marketplace. So this features 130 new tiles that are all designed in a modular way to quickly clutter any city or town or roadside or even a dungeon with things like merchant stalls or wagons of many different types. So from weapons to grocers. So I've got you covered. Also featuring recolorable awnings and all deployed with flexible, dynamically changing prefabs powered by Monk's active tiles. I'll show you how to use those in a sec. The last part of the release are new terrain types, so featuring dirt roads and overlays to create rundown city districts or sort of those austere wilderness and town scenes. I've also included new webbed treetops for those kind of creepy graveyard scenes. And finally, there are lots of new sample scenes that you can play and customize right out of the box, or just to give you inspiration to see how these assets can all be used together. So without further ado, let's jump into where to find these assets and how to use them. So first, the villa can be found in the Baileywiki Towns Compendiums. You'll find new content in both the Prefab Actor Compendium and also the Scene Compendium. There's also a couple of new macros in the Macro Compendium. Everything should be in the top under the New folder. I recommend using Compendium folders module to quickly import the entire new folders into your world to try them, or use the new macros in the Town Macro Compendium in the Utilities folder here. The new macro, this one called TA create actor off macro. If you click it, it prevents Foundry from creating a new actor every time you drag a prefab from the compendium to your scene. So this is a big deal. It lets you essentially build within Foundry directly from the compendiums without having to import any actors into your world. And that's great because we always recommend deleting those actors after you're done with the build session. So this helps you avoid that entirely. And thanks to KLG, the token attacher developer, for giving us that macro. So the villa itself is found in the City District 1 compendiums. Features multiple detailed rooms, and it's available in 2 stories using the levels module set. So the rooms include like a kitchen, pantry, laundry, great room, trophy room. There's a den, a library, a ballroom, balcony, lots of bedrooms. And also including this room that's sort of destroyed, right? Also in the villa are these tiles of dead bodies. These tiles are all the same dimensions, and that's on purpose because they are all also available as a prefab. So just search blood or bodies in the District 1 Actor Compendium and you'll find it. So this special prefab can be dragged to any scene, and then you can activate it by selecting a token and then clicking the tile or right-click the tile and press the activation button using Monk's active tiles, and it'll actually randomly change the tile to another body layout. So using this, you can quickly spam a scene with just death and gore. If you want to pick a specific tile, You might find a conflict with Monk's active tiles, so try deleting the randomization rule and then just use the tile picker. You can even just turn off the active tiles and then just use the regular tile picker to change it. Otherwise, you can find out that monks will potentially compete with that and keep trying to assign a different tile. Attached to the villa are these other assets, all of which are available as standalone prefab. So there's a guard barracks, stables. These are always helpful assets you'll use in a lot of places. You can search for those keywords to find them in the District 1 prefab compendium. And even the yard itself is available as a standalone asset. So the yard prefab is made of multiple components that let you change it to like a winter motif, for example, using multi-face tiles module, or you can break it apart and have a walled yard hanging off the side or corners of any map. So you can resize them, use the control token to do that. You can turn on quick edit mode and you can actually remove elements or even move the entrance to another part of the yard. Now let's look into the market expansion. Here you can see all the new tiles. All of the market stalls are designed to be interchangeable, so they're all the same dimensions. You just click on the tile picker and select a new replacement. Same with the awnings and the wagons. But these are also available as dynamic prefab. So in the town prefab compendium, just search market, stall, or wagon, and you can find them. You just drag them out, select the control token as the GM, and then double click the tiles to change them. Or you can turn on quick edit mode to move them around or delete them, delete an awning if you want to have that deleted. And you can just quickly clutter any scene with lots of different types of stalls. And like with the bodies, just delete the automation rule to be able to manually change the tile to whatever you want. Notice that the awnings can be recolored. Just turn on quick edit mode to manually change their color, or they also respond to my change selected tile color macro that I introduced in the last release, which will cycle them between a few presets just automatically for you. And last up are the new terrain tiles. So just double click into them to see where they are. There's grassy alternatives, for example, and other alternatives, and they're all the same dimensions. It's a square dimension, so they can be instantly swapped out for each other and scaled up and scaled down. And the edges are feathered, so you can really drop them into any map, especially if you're using the Forgotten Adventures assets as a base, which I recommend. You'll also notice some of the new webbed trees. To find them, search web in the Town Actors Compendium. You'll notice that there are multiple versions. Right, so these aren't just web, they're also snowy, and it's all in the same thing. So using multi-face tiles, just turn on quick edit mode and you can right click the treetop and you can cycle through options like dead, snowy, or webbed if those are available. And these are set up as persistent overhead tiles, so the trees will not occlude when a token is under them. I tend to like this effect. You can turn it off if you don't, but I like it for like obscuring and hiding tokens underneath the canopies. I think it makes for a really great experience for the players. And finally, there's lots of new scenes to explore, play, and modify. So the first, the Bloody Battlefield, features the new bloody tiles. There's also some dynamic explosive barrels from past releases if you want to play with those. The City with Garden demonstrates how to break apart and use the yard from the villa. The converted church theater, which features some of the new market stalls, shows you how you can combine, for example, the clock tower asset with the theater build to create a more, explorable space. The idea is this is a converted church at some point. Yeah, the defended encampment is a sort of a must-have battle map, I think, for any campaign. It shows you how to use the new market wagons in a different kind of capacity. So, don't forget to turn off the lights with a lot of these to see, how the ambience is changed as you turn the lights down. The Haunted Graves is an example of that. So using some of the new webbed and terrain assets along with some of the previous graveyard tiles to quickly create this sort of scary map, right? This one has an Undertaker in it, and you can delete or change any of these elements that you like. The large market in the slum is useful for your big city campaigns, with each stall able to be randomized or changed to whatever you want your players finding. This is a great place to consider using the Discovery Zones interaction that I released a few releases ago, that to basically let your players kind of roll and explore this area. The Market Street is another implementation of the new market assets, along with some other shops already available in the library. These shadow tiles are here just to show you how to create sort of instant intrigue with a map just by overlaying some shadows. It just kind of breaks up the map and creates, just sort of these odd shadows that I think the effect is overall pretty good. The hanging tree is another implementation of the new assets. It features like this scary looking tree at this crossroads where gibbets are deployed. You can lock, some NPCs in there, your players even. There's an abandoned wagon, just plenty of storytelling opportunity here, just to give you guys some inspiration. And finally, the villa itself is a scene. It's available as an entire scene, complete with the bloody tiles. And you can find that in the District 1 compendium for scenes. So that's it. I hope you guys get a lot of miles out of these new assets. They can really be leveraged in many, many different circumstances, even in a dungeon crawl. So let me know in the comments what you think and if this gives you inspiration on what I should design next. In the meantime, thanks everybody for your support. I really, really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have tons of fun making your maps.